And I tell you a last one story, a lawsuit that we filed just now against the State Department. We realized that the State Department is funding the Palestinian Authority with $250 million each year. And they're doing it despite laws that was legislated by the Congress, which asks the State Department to make sure that the money that is provided to the Palestinian Authority is not going to terrorism. They ask for transparency, they ask for filing certain reports, and the State Department simply ignored all these regulations. In the course of our litigation against the Palestinian Authority, we found out that the Palestinian Authority, first and for all, gives money to Hamas officials in Gaza. They pay their salaries in Gaza. We're talking about close to 1,000 people that the Palestinian Authority is paying their paychecks. The Palestinian Authority gives money to prisoners who sit in Israeli jails, whose crime were carrying out attacks against Israelis. They give them support, they support themselves, and they support their families. They give money to terrorism. We filed this lawsuit against the State Department because we believe that people who are living in Israel, American citizens who are living in Israel, who are the one to file this lawsuit, have a right not to be killed by their tax money. The State Department did not respond yet to the suit. This is only a portion of the cases we're handling in Israel, United States, Canada, and Europe. Every day we get more and more calls from more and more terror victims who wanted us to represent them in court, who want to fight back, who more than anything else in the world don't want to be victims anymore. And we are dedicated to help them. We established Shurat Hadin, Israel Law Center, to take all these hundreds of cases and file them in an orderly manner in the courts around the world. It's a non-profit organization. You have the information about the organization in the booklets that you are holding. We are dedicated to help the terror victims because we can win the cases. We're doing it because we are winning the cases. Last year, we scored a great victory in the Supreme Court of the United States in a case that was filed on behalf of two young orphans from the Unger family. Their parents were driving a car in an area near Bet Shemesh. They left the oldest baby with their parents, who were babysitting him, and they took the youngest baby with them in the car. They were driving their car until they reached a stoplight, and they had to stop the car. The second they stopped the car, a Hamas came that ambushed them, shot them to death. The baby was sitting in his baby seat, was sitting lower than the line of the fire, and didn't get hurt. It took the IDF 3 hours to find the car, the dead parents, and the crying baby. We filed the lawsuit in the United States because the father was an American citizen. The Palestinian Authority hired a lawyer, an ex-Attorney General of the United States named Ramsey Clark, who came and said, first of all, the Palestinian Authority is a state. And since we are a state, we have sovereign immunity, we cannot be sued in court. Second, the United States has no jurisdiction over the Palestinian Authority. And third, what the Hamas gang did to this young couple considered to be a legitimate act of war, and therefore no court can deal with this case. We argued back, and it took the court 4 years to throw their motion to dismiss. At this point, the Palestinians came and said that they don't agree to the court rulings. With all due respect, they are a state and they are not going to participate furthermore in the lawsuit. The court gave us a judgment against them for more than $100 million. They did not agree. They went to the courts of appeals. The courts of appeal rejected their appeal, and they went to the Supreme Court of the United States. The Supreme Court rejected the writ. We have a final judgment against the Palestinian Authority for more than $100 million. We took this judgment and we sent it to all the banks in the United States saying that if you have money that belongs to the Palestinian Authority, turn the money over to us. Many came back and said that they don't have money that belong to the Palestinian Authority. The few who did say that they are not so sure that the money they are holding belongs to the Palestinian Authority because it's held under different accounts called Palestine Monetary Authority, Palestine Investment Fund, Palestine Pension Fund. We know that the Palestinian Authority never paid any pension to their employees. We know that Yasser Arafat used these funds as slush fund, that every time he needed some money, he just reached in his hands and took them. So we're in litigation against these banks in the United States. But in the meantime, all the money is frozen. And we are talking about more than $100 million that nobody can touch, including the Palestinian Authority. These restraining orders caused the Palestinian Authority a great deal of damage. They approached the State Department and begged them to get involved with the cases. They wrote them personal letters asking them to intervene with the cases. They told them that they should do anything they can, in their own words, anything the American Constitution can, anything the American law can, in order to stop these cases. They told them that as a result of this restraining order, they cannot open bank accounts, they cannot wire money around, they cannot pay salaries, they cannot pay rent, they cannot function in the United States. They told them that if these cases will continue, they won't have a choice but to close their office in Washington. The State Department considered to get involved with the cases. As soon as we heard that, we launched a campaign against the State Department. We got 10 senators and 10 congressmen to send letters to the State Department to stay away from the cases. We brought 25 terror victims to personal meetings with the State Department, asking them not to intervene with the cases. We told them that they should not stand to the rights of the terror organizations, but to the rights of the terror victims, of the American citizens. We told them that if you don't have guts to fight the terror organizations, don't stop us from doing it. The State Department came to court, filed a statement of interest, and said that for now, they are not going to intervene with the cases and urged the parties to settle these cases out of court. For the first time, the lawyers from the Palestinian Authority approached us to settle these cases out of court.